94% of the net employment growth in the U.S. economy from 2005 to 2015 appears to have occurred in alternative work arrangements, including temporary, contract, freelance, etc., according to a study by Harvard and Princeton professors who are also research associates for the National Bureau of Economic Research. 94% is a pretty staggering figure. And so when I ask candidates if they're interested in working as a temp and they say no, I kind of have to scratch my head. Not only is this area of the employment sector growing leaps and bounds, but how temps are being used has changed. There are several reasons that working as a temp can help your career. So how has the temp market changed? As you can imagine, with huge growth in this area of the labor market, it means that not all of these temp workers are covering for a short leave of absence or a sick day. Enter the gig economy. Huge buzzword for 2017, and any way you slice it, it's growing. Temporary positions are a big part of this. And so employers still use temporary personnel to handle seasonal business increases and in other traditional circumstances when temps have been valuable in the past. But there's this topic that keeps coming up in reference to the job market, and that's the skills gap. You may have heard of it, and this plays a role in the rise of temporary staffing as a strategy for employers as well. When they can't find a permanent candidate with adequate skills, often employers turn to a temporary staff to manage their workload. And employers are also utilizing temporary candidates because it's just taking longer to find permanent candidates with the skills they need. This graph shows the rise in mean vacancy duration in days over the last 15 years. And this trend is expected to continue into 2017 and beyond. So again, why temp? This image gives a hint at part of my answer, but there are several reasons why temporary positions can benefit your career. And so here are a few of them. The first being that employed job seekers have more success in the job market. We see this all the time. Employers are more willing to look at candidates who are currently employed. I've seen it myself. A candidate is unemployed for a while, having very little luck finding a permanent position, or even getting a response back about a submitted resume. They decide to accept a temporary position, and bam, now other employers are interested in speaking with them. To some hiring managers, employed can be synonymous with employable. Now, part of the reason that working as a temp makes you more attractive as a candidate is that it gives an opportunity to learn new skills. And so new software, new ways of doing things. Obviously, this is very important when talking about my next bullet point. And like my last slide suggests, more and more employers are looking for candidates to have previous experience before being hired on, even for entry-level roles. And as a temp, you can gain that experience in a new area before moving into a new field. Now, this next piece I call the confidence of contract. This is something I've talked about with almost every candidate that is on the fence about working as a temporary employee. Some of us have experienced the unfortunate event of being let go or laid off because of a change in business needs. And I'll tell you, it's downright unpleasant. When you were hired, you didn't expect the position to have an expiration date, and that's exactly the point, your expectations and the employer's expectations. Temporary and contract positions allow you and the employer to align those expectations. And this can alleviate the discomfort of being let go. When your contract is over, because everyone was on the same page from the start, you can shake hands and move on to your next gig, either temporary or permanent. Now, the next piece is pretty obvious. It's straightforward that with, like anything else, finding a position, networking, it's all about who you know. And this last piece, the try before you buy, job hopper. It's another buzzword we hear all the time. And as a job seeker, you know it takes time to find out if you and a company are the right fit for each other. But if after a year you realize a position isn't for you, how does that affect the way your resume is perceived down the road? Temporary positions are often specifically finite. They have an end date. And if at the end of the contract they want to hire you and you're not into it, again, you can shake hands and move on, or at least you have the knowledge to make an informed decision on whether you should stay. So that leads us to the purpose of this demonstration, to introduce tempmission.com to candidates. So I'm going to show you how, with this tool, you can get connected to employers in the age of the gig economy. Now, TempMission is a tool we created for employers to browse and select professional temp candidates that is more efficient, more transparent, and is accessible to them 24/7, anytime, anywhere. So versus just telling you how easy it is to use, I'll show you. So let's jump into a brief demonstration on the website, and you can see for yourself. So for our purposes here, we'll start out from the candidate perspective. And so all you really have to do, submit resume. Straightforward, user-friendly interface, enter your information, including an upload of your resume. And creating an account is simple, just a name and email address. And from there, we'll post your information, scrubbed of any personal identifiers so that employers look at your skills and background without your name. So I'll show you an example here. So they log in, browse the database, and click to contact. So it has their information listed here below. And so, like I said, they click to contact. So easy. We receive the notification, contact you to determine if you're interested in the client who is interested in you, and go from there. Like I said, it's much more efficient than the old school way. Call an agency, wonder if they even have anyone who matches your needs, and wait around until they throw resumes at you. So we've Uberized, or we say we've Uberized the temporary staffing and given it a much needed update, bringing it in line with 21st century expectations. So what are you waiting for? Submit your resume now. Tempmission.com.